nose. You can't do that in public. You go to a ramen shop and everyone's nose is running because it's cold outside and it's hot from the soup and your nose runs? Nope. Just like you're not even supposed to really go like this. You're supposed to like leave the country to go blow your nose and then come back. Hi everyone, so I'm really excited because we are going to Japan. Woo, yay! Specifically, we're going to Tokyo and that is going to be amazing. We've been there one other time and we went to Tokyo and we went to Kyoto and it was the best experience ever. I totally recommend traveling to Japan. I think it's amazing. And I think it's a place that everybody should visit at least once in their lives. It's such an old culture with tons of history and the people are very different, especially if you're from America or from a very Western style country. It's really cool to see an entirely new culture. Like it's completely different than Western. I mean, of course they have stuff that's like Westernized and stuff, but it's not, it's different, but cool. I love it. So today I'm going to talk about traveling to Japan, and I'm going to start off, it's probably going to be a three to four videos about traveling to Japan, but this one is just going to be on the pre-travel, so you know what to prep and how to get there and all that fun stuff, like all my secrets of the trade kind of thing. It's going to be exciting. Okay, so some of the tools that I use for purchasing airline tickets and places to stay. I use Kayak and I use Airbnb. Now, I'm not sponsored by any of these people, and this is just how I travel. These are the apps that I use. I find that they give me the best deals, and I'm always out there searching for a good deal for traveling. So first, with Kayak, what you're going to do is you download the app, super easy, or you can use their website as well. And you basically just type in the city that you're leaving from and then the city that you are going to. And then what's cool is that they have an option, you can put in how many travelers you're going to travel with, and then on the dates, you can do, if you're flexible, you can do like a range of dates. You can do as far as like 3 days plus or minus on each end of the date that you picked, so you can get the best prices possible. And that's great if you're a flexible traveler, like we are. So we're traveling with 2 people, so we want to see the price for 2 people. I hate when you can't see the entire price, including taxes and fees and things like that. That's so annoying. And so Kayak has an option for you to see what the price is total for 2 people. Now, it depends. If they go to a third-party site for you to actually purchase the ticket, there could be additional taxes, or if you add on like the insurance or something, there'll obviously be an additional fee. But seeing the price together with the taxes and fees based on Kayak's report can give you either the exact information or pretty much really close to what you're going to be paying for those tickets. And the cool thing too is that if you are brand loyal, they pretty much have all of the airlines on Kayaks. But what's cool is that they'll probably have a cheaper rate on Kayak than on like whoever main airline's website you're gonna fly. And it depends, of course, if you're like a frequent flyer and you fly all the time and you get points that way, then maybe it's better to go through that, but then you're not necessarily worried about traveling on a budget, are you? And then a couple of other apps that I use are the Hopper app and the Travel Pirates app. And that's just to compare prices to see if I could find something cheaper or not. And that's the thing, if you really want to fly, I guess on a budget, what you need to do is just make sure you shop around, and you need to start probably at least 6 months out to your planned trip. Now for us, we are traveling in December and we purchased the tickets at the beginning of September. And that's not 6 months out, but I did start looking a few months in advance just to kind of see what I was looking at in terms of pricing and dates that were consistently lower in prices. So I went with those kind of like date ranges. And I am basing this out of, we live in California, so we have quite a few options as far as major airports. So our price for both of us to fly was about $950. That's round trip for 2 tickets. That's really amazing. Like if I wanted to fly home to the Midwest, it's only like $200 cheaper. And we're going to a whole new country across an entire ocean. So it's kind of crazy. And if you look at it in that kind of perspective, you can really see how affordable it is to travel outside of the country. And there are a bunch of different airlines now that are offering special deals or packages when you fly with them. So travel has become a lot more of a thing for everybody to do. It's not just for the rich and the famous. Now, booking your stay. A lot of people like to do like hotels.com or Orbitz or things like that where they can get a cheap hotel. And that is cool, and that's a good option. You need to decide if you are a creature of comfort where your hotel room basically really affects your trip. If you are a person who needs to have a concierge, or you need to have a pool, you need to have a workout facility room, you need to have amenities basically, then a hotel is probably the right choice for you. However, if you're like us, where the place of stay just needs to be comfortable enough to sleep in, and your destination is where you're going to be spending most of your time, then I think Airbnb is the best option ever, especially in Japan. For some reason, in the United States, Airbnb is okay, but in Japan, Airbnb is awesome. I love it. And there's a lot of options. And if you're looking at the price comparison, like you're basically going to be getting a similar size room and similar amenities as far as shower, bath, tea, coffee maker, things like that. And even actually the really cool thing about a lot of Airbnbs is that because it's somebody's apartment or home, then they're going to have things like a washer in there, and they will have things like a refrigerator and a stove and things that just, it's like a home away from home type of thing. Now, they probably won't have a pool or a workout facility unless you're staying in someone's really expensive apartment or loft. So for us, we love Airbnb because we can choose a fairly inexpensive place to stay, and it is fairly comfortable. It's good enough for us. And it's really cool actually because especially if you're in another country where they have very different housing systems, it's really interesting to kind of get a taste of the culture, like what it's like to live there for a week or however long you're staying. If you are going to do a hotel, I would actually recommend something called a ryokan, and that is a traditional Japanese style inn. And they're pretty comparable with hotels. I mean, you can probably get a hotel for like $79 a night, and the ryokans are probably going to be like $100 to $200 a night, depending on where you're staying and how nice your ryokan is, and if they're providing meal and tea ceremonies, and if it's connected with an onsen kind of thing. There's a lot of different things that go into the ryokan. I'm trying to say that as Japanese as possible, and it is not working. Sorry. So, how to use the Airbnb? It's really easy. You create an account and you can put this on an app on your phone, and basically you select the city that you want to stay in, and you can have all these like filters and parameters that you want to adjust. For example, how many people are staying and how much you are willing to spend if you want the entire place to yourself, but you can also do someone's room that they're renting out. It kind of depends on how open and free you are with yourself and your space and your privacy. And then also you can use like their map, and you can filter the actual like areas of, for example, for Tokyo. Tokyo is huge. It's way bigger than I thought it was because the last time we went, we did Airbnb as well, and we stayed in the Minato and the Roppongi area, and it was awesome. It was great. But that was like the western half of Tokyo, and we completely missed the entire eastern side because there was so much to see. And so now we're going to be staying on the eastern side, and I was able to search it with the map, and they have little prices that pop up for you, which is really great. And then you can contact the people who are your hosts and ask them any questions you have. And I would say, I mean, everybody that we've interacted with has spoken English. So if you are an English speaker, they're going to be able to communicate with you. Like, just, it's really good. I mean, it's not a problem. You're not going to have a problem with it. And then also, just when you're doing it, like you do with anything else, restaurants or other hotels or whatever, check their ratings, make sure that they're clean. People, that's like the biggest thing for me anyways, is like, is this place clean? That's what I care about. And then if they have good pictures, you always want to look at the pictures. And if the pictures don't look fake, and if they look like the room is presentable, it looks like everything's completely like organized and clean and things like that, you can bet that it's going to be a good place to stay. And the other thing is too, you want to make sure that it's located by transportation. Public transportation in Japan is huge and it's awesome. It's super efficient. It's super easy. You'll have no problems. A lot of things are written in Western alphabet, so you can at least read where you are. You might not know what it means, but you can at least, like Shinjuku. Oh, okay. That is familiar and it's fine. If I can do it, you can do it. It's not a problem. And then also with the Airbnbs, when you're picking them out, make sure that they say they come with a free pocket Wi-Fi. That is a lifesaver and a game changer for being in Tokyo. That way you don't have to get like a special chip in your phone that allows you to have international talk and whatever. And also it is free. So it does not cost you anything to make phone calls back home if you need to, or to Facebook and put all your awesome pictures up. Yeah, that's the important part. And make sure they don't charge you for it. Like, most of them say free pocket Wi-Fi. Money. Now, there's varying opinions on if Japan is expensive or if it's not expensive. Personally, I don't think Japan is expensive at all. But I live in a major city in California, so maybe my meter is a little off. If you're from Midwest or a country like Thailand or the Philippines, where maybe like comparatively the costs are different. Like you could probably get a lot more in the Philippines than you can in Japan for dollar. But generally speaking, at least especially if you're coming from a westernized country, Japan is not expensive unless you are super into drinking. Drinking everywhere is kind of expensive no matter where you go. Unless it's like Mexico, I hear it's not that expensive. And then two, you have your choice of going to a really expensive restaurant or a not as expensive restaurant. If you're looking for sushi, I think most of us are like sushi or ramen or like things that you think of that are typically Japanese. Compared to Western places, even the conveyor belt sushi is going to be amazing. So you don't have to spend $150 on like an omakase dinner, but you can as well, and it's going to be an experience. And then shopping as well, it's like shopping can be really expensive if you want it to be, or it doesn't have to be expensive. It all depends on if you're going to go high end or not, or if you're going to pick like pieces that are high end or not, or just do everything inexpensively. It's hard to gauge with our last experience because we went to 3 countries, and then while we were in Japan, we actually got the Japan Rail Pass, which is something that you would need to get as an outside foreigner ahead of time in advance, and it's for traveling on the Shinkansen. If that's something you're planning to do, make sure you plan ahead. But this time we are only staying in Tokyo, so we don't need to have that additional money. But between the 2 of us, round trip, 3 countries, everything, it was only like $5,000. And this trip, we're budgeting $2,500 to $3,000, and I'm guessing we're going to be on the lower end of that, but for 2 people, that's really good. That's super doable as far as like how much you need to save up. So again, you have the power to make your trip expensive in Japan or inexpensive. Again, when we went, totally not expensive. I think the most we paid at a restaurant was $20 for the both of us, and that was a ramen restaurant. We got 2 huge bowls of ramen and then some gyoza and some tea as well. So I don't think that's bad. And then fast food there, like we didn't go to McDonald's or anything like that because I've heard really scary stories about some of the McDonald's experiences, especially concerning the chicken nuggets, but it is something to try out because they do have a crazy menu compared to what we have in America. However, if you actually do Japanese fast food, you basically go to a vending machine, you pick out the meal ticket of what you want to get, and it was like $5.50 for us to get a soup, some fried chicken, and like 2 other sides and a drink. That's ridiculous. I mean, you can't even get that in America. That was like the 90s when McDonald's you could get like a number 1 for $5 or something like that. I don't even know. I wasn't alive. And then Japan is actually a cash heavy country. They don't really do credit cards as much as we do, especially in America. I mean, we're like cha-ching for everything. And now we've got that chip, which is like, anyway, that's not what this is about. Cash. Japan is all about the cash. And how do you get that cash? Well, if you're going through a bank, you want to call in advance and make sure that you order your money, especially it depends on where you are in the country. If you don't have a lot of Japanese or foreign cultures in your area, then you're really going to want to call ahead and just make sure that that money is ordered for you. And then you also want to check the exchange rate. There are different times during the year, there are different times during whatever is happening in the economy that the exchange rate is going to be better or worse. So when you exchange into the yen, or the en as the Japanese say, you just want to double check and make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. And there's plenty of websites that you can check out to see what that would be. And when you're talking about Japanese money, basically 1,000 yen is going to equal $10. You pretty much just move the decimal point in 2 zeros, and that's going to be what your cost is roughly in American dollars. Knowing what to pack for Japan is a lot different than maybe, say, packing for Alaska or for Europe, except you are going to walk everywhere. In Europe, I hear you walk everywhere as well. Again, public transportation is so amazing in Japan that you do not need to worry about having a car or a rental car. I actually don't even know if renting a car is a possibility because they have very strict driving rules over in Japan. It doesn't matter. Stick with the public transportation. It's great. And walking, so you're going to want to make sure that you pack some comfortable shoes. And if you're going to go out someplace fancy, maybe bring a bag that has comfortable shoes to get you to your destination that you can switch in and out of, because walking. We walked so much when I was there last time. I lost a ton of weight, which was, woo, it was awesome. But I gained it all back because Christmas was right afterwards and I like cookies. And then also, smart travelers, you got to check the weather when you're going. Japan has beautiful seasons and it has very different climates during each season. The best times that I have heard to go and then that I've experienced are spring and fall. Spring, obviously, you're going to get the cherry blossoms, and that's super iconic. That's also going to be a high peak season, so booking your tickets might be a little bit more expensive during that time. Another time that I feel like is a secret, but I'll tell you anyway, is the fall. The fall is so incredible in Japan. They've got the colors, and they've got the trees, and they've got the beautiful mild jacket weather, so you can like walk around with your little latte, and then you can have your jacket and like a cute scarf on and some boots, and it's fabulous. Yes. And then what do you do about the language? Oh my gosh, they speak Japanese, which is like not close to English at all. Sorry. But there are ways around that. So when we first went to Japan, we didn't know any Japanese at all except for like 5 words. And that was konnichiwa, which is hello, and ohayo gozaimasu, which is good morning, and sumimasen, which is excuse me, domo arigato gozaimasu, or arigato Mr. Roboto. No, it's just arigato gozaimasu is thank you very much. And konpai, which is cheers, and we don't really drink, so we didn't use that one ever. But those 5 simple phrases are perfect. Like when you go to a restaurant, you can show them the menu that you're like, and they'll usually give you an English menu, or you can just guess. They have pictures a lot of the times. Now, if you're gonna go to a place that's very Japanese, they might not even let you in because they're worried that they can't speak English and they don't want to offend you by not knowing how to communicate with you and therefore give you the service and food that you want. So don't be offended by something like that. Just understand that it's scary. They don't know what you're saying. You don't know what they're saying. But the other cool thing is that most of the signs, like I said again, are written in Western alphabet, so you can at least kind of figure out where you're going. And then too, people are so freaking nice there that they will help you out as best as they can, regardless on their ability to speak English. A lot of them actually know bits and pieces of English, which is really great because the people that we stopped in and were like, can you help us? We arigato. Like, that's pretty much what we were able to say. And they're like, no, but we can do sign language and basically get you to where you need to go, that's super helpful. And we got lost one time in the middle of Kyoto. We have no idea where we were. We were riding bikes and could no longer figure out how to get home. And this girl and this woman, they went out of their way to help us out. The girl actually like hopped on her bike and took us to a lake and then directed us the rest of the way home. It was so nice. And she was just out of the goodness of her heart. We couldn't give her any money. She wouldn't accept it. She just said memories. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the nicest story ever. So now we have memories. I don't even know her name, but we have a picture, so it's really nice. And again, I just have to stress that you do your research on customs. They have a lot of different cultural differences than we do, especially in America or Western places. I will try to put some links down in the description so you can check those out just because you want to make sure that you don't look like a jerk when you go to Japan and you didn't even know that you look like a jerk. So that's pretty much it for pre-travel to Japan. I think that those are kind of like the basic need to know things. There are a lot of other people who also have really in-depth, detailed YouTube videos about traveling to Japan and like specific costs on things. And I will put some of their names down in the little description box below. They have a lot of fun information in general about Japan as well. So I think it's really smart when you are traveling to a new place for the first time to get as much information in your brain as possible. Especially when it's a foreign country that has a lot of foreign customs, you are going to want to find out as much as you can on that. Do your research like a crazy person. So this video counts as some of that. And then some of the other videos that I have, I will be posting. I will post our trip as well, so you guys can follow along and see how much fun we're having. And yeah, we're very excited, and thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them for me in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and that way you can see all of our fun stuff that we're going to be doing in Japan while we're there. And you can follow me on Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook. And thanks so much for watching, guys. See ya!